Hey guys, it's your girl Nosh. How's it going? Happy November. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a while. It actually hasn't been that long. But I thought I'd swing by and tell you guys what is going on collectively in the sky right now. I figured, if you haven't done a check-in, maybe this video will help you check in. The sun is in Mercury. What I'm trying to say is the sun is in Libra. Mercury is also in Libra. So without further ado, let's get into what is the sky doing right now and what does that mean for you collectively. Sun plus Mercury is in Libra. So collectively, the mood is leaning towards connection, fairness, and recalibration. So this is a lot. It's actually, no, is it a lot? You might see conversations worldwide tend to revolve around justice, balance, and diplomacy, Well, we just had elections, so it makes sense. It's funny how everything that's happening does reflect the sky, doesn't it? A lot of you are being called to mend relationships or find harmony between you and people that you didn't get along with. This could be socially, politically, and even artistically for my artists out there, my creators, my creators. It's a good movie for you guys to see. It's on Netflix. I think it's NOS 944, something like that. But it's about a creator who can cross this bridge. There's a bridge that doesn't exist. She crosses into it and she goes to the other side of the bridge and it brings her back. Like she does like a timeline jump and she is the finder of lost things. She can find things that are lost. Really good movie about being a creator, being creative, being a manifester. So I would definitely tell you to take a look at that. It has like a Christmassy theme to it. So we are in the season. So we're going towards that. I think that you guys might like that. So like I was saying, yeah, Sun plus Mercury is in Libra, which is asking everyone to lean towards connection. Like, how are you connecting with people? Is it fair? A lot of situations are going to come up where you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, well, that's not very nice. That wasn't very nice. That wasn't fair. But yet this has been happening, but you didn't see it as unfairness then. Now all of a sudden you're seeing it as fairness because Mercury is in Libra and it's telling you to look at the situation like, wait a minute. Why is it that every time I talk to this person, they always put me down? That's not right. You get what I'm saying? You're going to finally start seeing that around you and within people. Venus is in Virgo. This is refining how we give and receive love. Virgo is a perfectionist. The sign of a perfectionist and sitting in Venus. Virgo likes sitting in Venus because Virgo is ruled by Mercury and Venus. So yeah, this is something where you want to look around you and be like, well, am I receiving the love how I really want to receive it? Or that's where that unfairness comes in, right? Okay. It's also a time for acts and service, healing and self-improvement. So during this time period this is when people wanting to start going back to the gym because the new year is coming. You want to pick up a new routine. This usually happens, especially with Thanksgiving around the corner. You want new habits because a lot of you are probably seeing family that you haven't seen in a long time. You want to look good for them. I want to look good for you. I don't know why Selena Gomez song just came into my head. So one of you, or maybe many of you, are planning on running into someone. So maybe you just, you're kind of like, I want to look good. I want to look good for you. And some of you are probably doing self-healing and you're saying that you want to look good for yourself. So yeah, definitely the time of acts of service and, self-care, healing, and self-improvement. The reason why I'm saying is active services is because Virgo is is about service. Virgo is how you service other people. Okay. Virgo is a lot of times, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of nurses, teachers, people who are in the line of service, working at schools, teaching people, being a nurse, providing healthcare. They have Virgo heavy Virgo in their charts. If you're a nurse, let me know, do you have Virgo in your chart? Because Virgo is all about helping others, you know? So there you go. Next up, my favorite, Mars in Scorpio. Mars is that planet that brings the intensity, passion, and the truth seeking out of you, okay? Mars is all about truth. Mars is all about passion. Sometimes this passion may come across like, whoa, but it's your truth. It's whatever you're passionate about, you know, people will be able to see it. For the collective, this means buried emotions and secrets rising to the surface, whether it's personal or, you know, societal. If there is something that you've been holding on to, something that you don't want people to know, depending on what it is, it's people are going to know. People are going to find out. So if you're like secretly working on something, maybe this is a time period that actually goes into full blossom and people are seeing, oh, so that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been working on. And it could also mean like, you know, something that you said about someone, something you did behind someone's back. It's coming to the forefront. This is where we say, oh my God, I had it in my mind now. I can't remember it. You know, that thing that they say, it's okay, light will be, you know, the truth will come out in the light, you know. This is what we're talking about. So this is why it's very important not to do shit where you don't want to like get caught for it. Like, I don't know, like say you like secretly like put magic on someone and now this person knows. You did a spell work on someone, you know, to make them be obsessed with you, and they figured it out. So just refrain from doing things like that, and then you won't have to worry about your secrets being caught. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some things that, yeah, you don't need to tell people. But I'm talking about in the realm of don't do things to hurt people, because this is the time period where people will find out like, oh, so that's what you did to hurt me? Okay, you know, so that's where this is going. This is also a powerful time for transformation. If you've been skipping out on shadow work, please do your shadow work and just be emotionally honest with yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, where Saturn is sitting, a lot of these delusions that people have, they're not going to be the solutions anymore. So very, very powerful for you to, do shadow work and be emotionally honest with yourself. The world may also be feeling more emotionally charged, but that also means it's ready for a deep change. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world right now that people are seeing, people are speaking up about. It's like what was okay back in the 80s and the 90s, it's not okay anymore. The things we used to say, how we used to treat people, the way we used to raise our children, it was okay back in the day, but now it's not okay anymore. It's like, you know what? No, this is not right. We need to grow from this. Speaking of growing, breaking cycles, we must be breaking cycles. This is a really big hint towards that when I talk about that self-healing, being emotionally honest with yourself. You got to break the cycles, okay? If you see that you have a certain pattern and you're not acquiring any positive results from this certain pattern that you have, maybe it's time to go back into the lab and work on the formula that you've been working on. If it's the same formula that you've been using over and over again, you're going to get the same answer. And if it's an answer that you don't like, maybe it's time to change the formula, okay? Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is our planet of expansion. Cancer is emotional. I love my Cancers. How are you guys? Huh? I feel like a lot of the Cancers are really busy right now. They may be feeling like they don't have time for themselves or time to do anything. It's because your planet is sitting, or your zodiac is sitting in Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion. Jupiter comes home and says, we need to grow. We need to do this differently. We need to do that. Like, why do you think Sagittarius are always changing up things? Every time you turn around, Sagittarius was doing this, now they're doing that, because they're ruled by Jupiter. You know, they're constantly growing. You know, change equals growth. So, with that being said, some of you may be going back home. If you moved out, you may be going back home because Economy is not looking good. We all know that. But Jupiter in Cancer is telling you, go back home, go to your roots, go to that safety, go to that emotional bond. It's you know what, basically, I love when Jupiter is in Cancer because all the surface level bonds are breaking. Anything that is surface level is like coming up as a no. We're not doing this anymore. Say you've been dating someone and it's just been surface level. The person is not asking you to, so I hate the I really hate the word settle down. Like the person is not choosing you and you're not choosing this person. Or should I even use the word choosing? Choosing is such a like ugh. No one should be chosen, like everyone should be chosen. It's you're dating someone and it's not going where you want it to go. It's not going into that long-term tunnel that you want it to go. And it's really, really coming up into your conscious now. Like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Are we just playing house? Like, there's no commitment here. Cancer wants commitment. You know how you are, Cancer. You want commitment. You want to know that this is going to be stable for such and such time period. So this is, coming up, and a lot of you may break up with people. A lot of you may, put down an ultimatum and say, listen, if we're not going to be together for the long term, I don't know what we're doing. Why are we doing this then? So that is also going to come out. Collectively, this is a time for healing family systems, nurturing communities, and reevaluating what home means to you. So if you're living in a community that doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel like home, you may end up going back to where it feels like it's home. That's where I said you might be moving. Family systems, if your mom and dad raised you a certain way, you'll be noticing that you're raising your children a different way. You know how like, I don't believe, well, I can't tell you what I believe because that's irrelevant. The way you are approaching your children about their emotions may be very different from the way your parents approach you about your emotions, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're doing it the right way, you're giving them time and space, and you're giving them a place where they can have emotions. Because our generation, most of you that are listening to me, you're probably like 80s, early 80s, late 70s, 90s, and you remember how it was. We weren't allowed to cry. We were told if you cry that we're going to get more. And that really, suppressed our feelings. So that's why now we act like we just like tell you how we feel. Oh, that's because we never got a chance to tell people how we felt when we were young. Now we're just like vomiting it up. Like, you know what? I didn't fucking like the way you treated me back then. And it's okay. That's exactly what's supposed to be happening. That emotional honesty. Get it? How it goes hand in hand. So yeah, you gotta go back and see what home really means to you. Are you in a place where it feels like home? So there's also going to be a craving for comfort and belonging after years of instability. So if you've been unstable for a very long time, you're going to start craving that. If you've been on the run, this is for my players out there. What's up, players? You're going to crave that wanting to be in one place with one person instead of hopping hoes with different ones, Like, look, no one's wrong for doing what they do as long as you don't hurt someone. As long as you're honest about it. Like, look, hey, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to 5 other people. As long as you're honest about that, you're not doing anything wrong. If you're not using people and abusing people, you're not doing anything wrong. Because there are some people who, love more than one person. You can't judge anyone because everybody loves differently. For everybody, love means different things. But if you're caught up in a cycle with someone who's talking to you and talking to 5 other people, you'll notice that this person is going to choose one. And don't get upset because you didn't get chosen. Don't you dare get upset because that just means it wasn't meant for you to be together, okay? That's another video, another story, and another time. So moving on. I feel like I should go back there real quick. Let me just revisit what I just said. So if you're dealing with someone who used to be all over the place, talking to a lot of people, you'll notice that those people are settling down now. Here's that word again, settle. Ugh. They're coming to a point where they feel like, you know what, they want their person. And even you, if you're listening and you're the type of person who didn't want a relationship, you kind of like you liked how everything was going, you might be reconsidering that, okay? Now, next up, Saturn is retrograding in Pisces. As a hawk just flew over me. Hawk is like, yeah, talk about that. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces. That's why your dreams are looking a little woo-woo. Saturn is the teacher, right? We all talk about Saturn being a teacher. And in this sign of dreams, right, equals lessons around spiritual boundaries and escapism and faith. So many of you are going to realize that the faith that you've had, you might need to revisit that again. Like, what are you believing in? Are you believing in this because this is what everybody told you to believe in? Are you believing in this because you really, really believe in it? Is it because this is what your family did? It's basically asking you, like, what are you learning from here? Like, prime example, you go to church every day, you sit in sermon, or you sit in service, and you kind of like just, listen to what the pastor is saying, and then you kind of just go about living your day-to-day life, not applying what the pastor said. Because you know what? I'll be really honest with you guys. It's not the church. It's not the pastor. I'm sorry. It is the church. It is the pastor. I have a Mercury in Sagittarius. Okay, so please forgive me for what I'm about to say next. The word of God, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just discipline to teach you how to live your life the safe way, the protected way, okay, in a spiritual way. The way the church and the pastors reiterate it, right? The way they so eloquently give you speeches about it and how they only touch on things that they feel are necessary. That's where your faith is probably rearing its head and saying, wait a minute, how come we're not talking about this? This is what's going on. Or how come we always talk about this? Like, Pastor, how come we always talk about giving in church, but we never talk about the devil, and we never talk about how the devil is around us? Sorry about that. Sorry about your ears, guys. I am getting over a cold, so I had to clear my throat. I had to. That was a big clearing of my throat. Yeah, that was kind of wet and nasty. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really, really sorry about that. But I'm just gonna keep going. You're probably gonna be sitting in church and you're gonna be like, you know what? Like, what is he talking about? Why isn't he talking about the things that we need to talk about? Well, what is it that you want to talk about? Go inside of you and that emotional honesty. You see how everything is falling back to emotional honesty? Go back and ask yourself the emotional, honest question that you want to ask. Do I really have faith in what they're telling me? And if you feel like you're wavering or you're teeter-tottering, then I suggest you need to get closer to God on your own path without, having the middleman inside or in the middle, right? Having the middleman in the middle. So basically, collectively, we're being asked to discern between illusion and intuition. What's real and what's projection? Is your faith moving from a place of projection, or is your faith really moving from a place because that's what you believe in? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. And also, a lot of you may be facing old emotions resurfacing for closure, which is what really happens when Saturn retrogrades in Pisces. Pisces is the planet of dreams, subconscious work, escapism. A lot of times you'll notice Pisces, instead of facing the reality of things, they skip around it, or they act like it doesn't exist, and that's fine. That's how Pisces deals with it. We all deal with things very differently, and that is okay. We can't sit there and judge someone for dealing with something the way that they deal with it, because that's what they've been taught. You need to worry about how you deal with things. But collectively, you may be dealing with escapism as well, too. This is a time period where you have to look at yourself and say, are these things that I'm doing, are the things that I'm doing right now, are they helping me? You know what I'm talking about when I say escapism. This is where we go back to that. Again, the 5th time I think I've mentioned this, the emotional honesty. So in summary, everyone's taking a deep breath. The whole entire collective is literally taking a deep breath right now. We're reviewing relationships because of Libra. We're healing through compassion because Virgo and Pisces. We're facing inner truths because of Scorpio. And we're rebuilding emotional foundations because of Cancer. It's quieter, but emotionally potent. Okay, this is definitely a cycle for reflection, reconciliation, and rebirth before bigger things start to shift and arrive later on in this year. All right. So I hope you guys like that. Oh, nice little sound effects in the background, right? This is what I get for doing my reading outside. But anyways, guys, I hope this helped. I hope it helped you get an idea of what's going on in the sky right now. I know I haven't been posting a lot lately. My apologies. It's just that, it's beginning of fall and going into winter for me. This time is very busy. So I will try my best to keep you updated with what's going on in the sky, keep you updated with more spiritual things that I normally, talk about on this page. But yeah. I just hope that, the decisions that you make for yourself, they really align with where it is that you want to be. Okay? I love you guys. And just remember, whatever energy you send me is the same energy you create for yourself. So be loving, be kind, be passionate. Don't be judgmental. Don't be critical about things. Just remember, whatever you put out there is exactly what you get. Okay? Mwah. I love you guys. See you next time.